Welcome, everyone, to the Inside Lane here on Sports360AZ.com, going inside the world of racing here in the state of Arizona. I'm your host, Devon Henry, and this weekend, the big show. It's the greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws, coming to Arizona. On Friday, they'll be at USA Raceway in Tucson. Saturday, they'll be at Arizona Speedway out in Queen Creek. To get us ready for this weekend's races, joining me here on the Inside Lane, he's the 2016 USAC National Midget Rookie of the Year, a king of the West Sprint Car Series champion, and this year's Silver Dollar Shootout winner from Lemoore, California, driver of the Kyle Larson Racing #2 Sprint Car. It's Carson Macedo. Carson, thanks for joining me, man.
Yeah, glad to be on. Pretty cool deal. It's going to be a fun week in Arizona, so we're all looking forward to it.
Absolutely. The weather's actually pretty nice this time of year, and so you guys have this West Coast swing that you're doing. You're usually back east, and so now that you're on the West Coast, how many in and out trips have you made so far?
Yeah, it seems like, it's sort of a novelty to go when you're out in this area, but yeah, it's funny you say that, because for a while when I was growing up out here, they built one in my hometown, Hanford, and I actually kind of got a little bit burnt out on it just because I had it so often. And then you move to the Midwest, back east for a little bit, and you start to miss it. So when you go back home, it's a little bit more of a special treat.
Yeah, I don't blame you whatsoever on getting burnt out on in and out, but we're almost the exact same age to the month. I think that you probably have the much cooler job between the two of us. You took home your second career Outlaws win a couple weeks ago at Silver Dollar Speedway, currently fourth in the Outlaw standings as a 22-year-old. What is it like being a full-timer in the World of Outlaws, not just as a young man, not just racing there, but also winning for someone like Kyle Larson?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. A little bit surreal. I always hoped that I could kind of be at this level as early as possible. And this past year, I was full time with the All Stars with Joe Gertie and his famous 3G car, and we were able to have a little bit of success. And luckily Kyle kind of picked us both up together. So Joe's my crew chief now, and being out on the road and kind of contending for wins and putting together good runs night in and night out, it's kind of been a dream come true. Kyle just got a first-class team. He does everything the right way. All the people that are in place are really good. The equipment's really good, and just seems like I have a lot of confidence in the package that we have right now. So, yeah, I can't thank him enough for giving me such a cool opportunity, and hopefully, we can continue to make the most of it.
Yeah, one win here, and the season is still very, very young. One win, I should say, this Outlaw season so far in the NOS Energy World of Outlaws season. But your family happens to know a thing or two about winning. You're a fourth-generation racer. Both your mom and your dad raced. Both your grandfathers raced. Your great-grandfather raced as well. Your brother races, and then, of course, there's the Tarletons as well, who have been with you, it seems like, about every step of the way. What is this family atmosphere like in racing, and how often do you get some necessary or occasionally unnecessary advice from all those racers in the household sometimes?
Yeah, it seems like, when I was a little kid, it was kind of, don't get me wrong, we all have a choice, but my parents definitely, my grandpa bought me a quarter midget probably before I really didn't know whether I wanted to do it or not, and from there, my dad bought me a junior sprint, and it kind of just went that way. Everybody raced, everybody in our family. That's kind of the thing we all did. It's what we enjoyed doing together. Going to the races on the weekends is something that we all look forward to, and it's like you said, when you have that many mentors and racers that have grown up in the family that have done the same thing as you, it's pretty easy to steer down the right path and the right direction, because you got a lot of people that are, that really do truly care about you, and they all want the best for you. So the Tarleton family and my family, my dad, my grandpa, on my mom's side, and even on my dad's side, they all kind of got me started, and then the Tarleton family kind of took over from there once I got in, towards the sprint car ranks. So my family personally probably couldn't afford that level, and the Tarleton family could, and Tommy and Tommy Tarleton have really become so, I've become so close with them and so thankful for everything they do for me. So I think just growing up in that type of environment, that type of family, it pushes you to be your best, and definitely, wants to make everybody else proud that is kind of enjoying the same thing.
So I want to share a little story with you. My first professional interview with a race car driver was back about a year and a half ago now, and it's still arguably my favorite interview to this day. And that was Jason Johnson. And unfortunately, we lost Jason last summer, and Knoxville Raceway tweeted that this was their favorite moment of 2018. I think that this is everyone's favorite moment of 2018, probably one of the best moments at Knoxville, in my opinion. And of course, you know how prestigious Knoxville is, and extremely long story short, but Jason's wife Bobby knew that they wanted to go run the Knoxville Nationals, and you were selected to drive Jason's car that weekend. And in the Friday prelim feature, you took that Raging Cajun number 41 car, put it back in victory lane at the prestigious Knoxville Raceway, the sprint car capital of the world. Jason's young son Jax was with you in victory lane, and to just try to take me back, man. And what did that weekend, and what does Jason Johnson also mean to you?
Yeah, so, starting from the beginning, when I was sitting, I don't remember exactly where I was the first moment, but I got a call from Philip Dietz, and Philip just basically said, hey, we're wanting to put a driver in our car, and, we're finishing up a few details, but, would you be interested in racing our car at the 314 Nationals in Knoxville? And I couldn't believe it, man. I was so honored. It's like you said, Jason was one of the best in our sport. He is, he was racing with the World of Outlaws night in and night out and competing for wins. I mean, he's one of the best in the world in our sport. And so, and one thing I really admired about Jason Johnson that I really took a lot, I really look up to Jason Myers as well, as a good friend of mine. And I think that, the thing that they did special was they were able to put their own team together and go out and compete with a lot of really good teams that are out there on the road. And that takes a lot of work, a lot of responsibility. So, it just was a really cool 2 weeks, man. Jason Myers had mentioned to me that he had mentioned my name, to them guys at JJR and Bobby and Philip. And I never really thought it would happen. And then to get that phone call and then just to show up there and, going into those 2 weeks, my plan was to go there and to try and put a smile on all of their faces. I know that they'd had a rough few weeks, and they probably needed a little bit of light shined on their lives. And so I really wanted to just go there and have fun. My goal was to go there and make sure that everybody had a good time and had a lot of fun. And, man, to park that thing in victory lane that first night and then, pick up Jax in victory lane and see everybody just smiling and so happy it was a cool deal, man. It's one of probably the best 2 weeks I've had in my life so far, and I know Jason was with us every step of the way. He was a big part of it. I guarantee you he was making sure that things went right from up there. So it's just a really cool deal. And then, after that night, it seemed like every night we were just there. I mean, the 360 Nationals, we were leading at Takes Rubber. Kerry did a good job. He got by us, but, we run second. We run second at the Capitani. I was able to jump in Tony Stewart's car and won there at Oski, and then, we went 22nd, I think, to 9th in our prelim night, which locked us into starting 8th in the feature. We were running 4th, had a power steering line blow with a couple laps to go, and I ended up, backing up to 6th. But, man, just the JJR car and Philip and the guys just did an outstanding job, and that thing was a rocket ship all week. I was just the lucky guy that got to turn it around the racetrack.
A phenomenal moment, and this Outlaw season just so grueling. And you're listed as a full-timer for the Outlaws. That's not all you're doing. You're going to be jumping in cars left and right all year long. But just looking at the Outlaws, 92 races through 25 states in a matter of only 40 weeks. You told me before we started here that you're up north in Lake Havasu right now. You guys got to go all the way down south to Tucson to get up to USA Raceway in Tucson for Friday, and then drive up to Queen Creek on Saturday. First Outlaw race for both tracks, I know for you, but you've raced at both of those tracks before. What are the challenges of these tracks going to be this weekend?
Yeah, so I actually ran an Outlaw race in 2013 at Tucson. So I have ran there before, but it was a pretty long time ago. As for Queens Creek, man, it's an awesome racetrack. Every time I've only been there for the Western World. I think in 2016 I raced there non-wing sprint car, and I've obviously watched quite a bit of video of past Outlaw races from that place, and I'm really excited. I think that place puts on a pretty good show every single time the Outlaws have been there. So it seems like it gets around the fence there, and everybody just kind of hustling pretty hard to make something happen. So we're looking forward to it. I mean, it's always good to go to some new racetracks that you haven't necessarily raced in a wing car, or even though you've been there, kind of race from that different aspect. So I know that the KLR number 2 will be quick. I'm just going to have to go there and do my job, and we'll try and put a win or two more on the board.
All right, before I let you go, because it sounds like you're busy, you got places to go, I understand. So I want to do a segment called Quick Time. I give you some rapid-fire questions. I'm looking for some rapid-fire answers in return. You ready to set Quick Time, Carson?
Yep, I'm ready to go.
All right, man. So I asked most guys, what's your favorite track? This was supposedly answered on your website already. It was Tulare Thunderbolt. Why is Tulare your favorite track?
So Tulare's just got that characteristic. It's probably, when you grow up in California, it's just a cool racetrack, man. It just always puts on a good show. Probably why it's my favorite, though, in a short answer, is I think Tulare is one of the few tracks that no matter when and no matter what time of year, the harder you hustle it, the faster you're going to go. So the effort you put in is kind of what you get out.
So you're a young man. You look pretty young, too. Whether it's your driver's license or your racing license, can you put together about how many times you've been double or triple checked for how old you are before you go out for a race?
Probably not so much anymore, but yeah, when I first started out, especially when I moved to the Midwest, it seemed like everyone was kind of leery on how old I was. But yeah, I mean, with it being 16 now, I think there's kids that I've seen racing now that are 14 and 15 years old. So yeah, I don't get checked too often anymore.
Now, this is a factual one. How many World of Outlaw career wins, according to the World of Outlaws website, does your owner, Kyle Larson, own?
I think it's 9.
Ooh, I like you going big, though. It's only 6 because, that pesky NASCAR thing gets in the way every now and again. But, yeah, he knows how to roll around no matter what the car is. So your racing family, the whole racing family, if you could put all of them in their prime, I know obviously you didn't get to watch most of them in their prime, but how many of them do you think that you could beat if everyone's in their prime in the same car?
Oh, man, that's
I'm putting you on the spot.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Probably, maybe a better answer would probably be the ones I don't think I could beat. It would probably be like my grandpa. He was pretty good. Robbie Tarleton, Tom Tarleton. I know Tommy was pretty damn good in his day. My mom, they all just got their own. They got their wins. So I don't know, man. It was someday maybe. When we all go to a better place, maybe we'll be able to have a race up there, and we'll see.
There you go. That'd be a good show. I'd go to that. No. So, last one. How difficult is it to stand on the wing when you're celebrating?
Oh, man, it depends. It's like, it's the most difficult when it's all the way back. When you win a race and it's all the way in the trunk, and it looks, I always think it looks cool to be in the trunk in victory lane anyway, so I leave it there. But it seems like it gets a little tough to stand on the wing when you kind of got to lean back and stand up there and try and balance yourself and kind of celebrate. So you definitely don't want to be the dork that falls off of his wing, that's for sure.
No, I see you beat the wing a few times, and you're obviously super pumped. There was that one time that I saw, I don't remember what race it was, but that you jumped on, and I'm like, dude, don't fall, stick it. No. Carson, thank you so much for joining me here on the Inside Lane. Hope to see you this weekend. Friday first at Tucson at USA Raceway for the Wildcat Shootout. Then Saturday, April 5th to Arizona Speedway in Queen Creek for the Arizona Desert Shootout. Carson, thanks again so much for your time, buddy. Looking for wins 2 and 3 of the year here this weekend in Arizona.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure.
This is the Inside Lane. You can check out all of our other episodes on sports360az.com. We'll see you next time here on the Inside Lane.